This is the Rod Langway Fan Club.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rod Langway Fan Club podcast. I am your host, Jeff Roman. It's our 2025 summer recap, joined by a couple of co-hosts, Mr. Mark Check-Nita.
Happy to be back for yet another season of hockey hijinks with you two fine lads.
And John Snowden.
Yes, not sure why we're talking about hockey just yet, but here we are.
Nice to see you guys again. How was your summer, guys?
I had a lovely summer. It was a little hot, of course, here in Taiwan. I spent a little time in Vietnam as well, which was hot, but enjoyed some wonderful time on the beach there.
Nice. I've been to Nam before. I was in Taipei most of the summer. Pretty quiet summer. It was nice. Hot, though. Man, was it hot.
Yeah, you guys, you should know better than to stay here for the whole summer. I went back to Canada.
Yes, good for you. And how was it, Mark?
It was great.
Back in Edmonton, Alberta.
Yeah, bulk of my time was my hometown, Edmonton, Alberta. And of course, you know, it's a little sad in Edmonton. The Oiler fans, not as excited as they were last summer, even though it's kind of the same result, losing to the Florida Panthers again. But people are just not as excited this year.
Yeah, I bet. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers.
Yes.
Stanley Cup champs back to back.
They were far and away the most dominant team, and I do think they showed that in the final, more so than they did last year. Last year, it went to 7 games, 3 games for Florida, 3 games for Edmonton, and then Florida wins a pretty closely contested Game 7. But this year, once Florida decided it was time to put the boot on Edmonton's neck, it was pretty much game.
And were people back home saying pretty much as much?
Yeah, even my most optimistic Oiler fan friends realized that Florida was just far and away the better team. So hats off to them.
And John, what did you think of your Winnipeg Jets?
Well, it was a disappointing playoff run. I wouldn't say disastrous, though. We were treated to what is one of the most exciting plays in Winnipeg Jets history when Cole Perfetti scored that game-tying goal in Game 7 in the first round against the St. Louis Blues. That was thrilling, and we went on to win that series. We tanked out against Dallas. I do think that was a series we could have won, but we fell just short. Mark, your Montreal Canadiens also made it in. How did you feel about their performance?
I mean, it was very unexpected. I did not think they'd be competing for a playoff spot. In the mix was management's line at the start of the season. I think it was a great experience for the young guys, and I think they're going to build off of that this season. Jeff, your Leafs, more of the same from them, right?
Hey, we got out of the first round.
Yeah, that's true.
That was pretty exciting. And hey, took Florida Panthers to Game 7. Had Stolar's not been targeted by Bennett and put out, I think the Leafs may have had a chance.
Jeff is going to be telling this story for the next 25 years. Oh, the playoffs, not 2025. My Leafs almost did it.
Yeah, but it was an exciting playoffs all in all. But we do have a new season coming down the pike here, and a lot of things happen in the offseason. So why don't we break it down?
I'm a man who has a high regard for chronological order, so I think we should start with the NHL entry draft.
Yeah, it was an exciting draft. First overall, the New York Islanders took Matthew Schaefer, defenseman, out of Erie.
Yeah, and second overall, Michael Misa goes to the San Jose Sharks. I mean, this was a guy who had exceptional status, pretty exciting player. I think he could be a franchise center, but the Islanders chose to pass on him. I was a little curious as to why that happened.
Well, I think in the end they went for the Schaefer pick.
Third overall.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, the Chicago Blackhawks went with Anton Frundell from Sweden. Decent size. They say he's got a decent shot. Should fit in well with the rebuilding Hawks.
Yeah, he's one of these guys that doesn't really have any weaknesses in his game. The upside as a franchise player might not be as high as a Misa or a Schaefer, but a solid pick at number 3.
And at number 4, kid out of Moncton, New Brunswick, John.
Great town.
Yeah. Utah takes Caleb
Desnoyers. He rocketed up the draft standings in the second half of the season. He's an exciting prospect for sure.
Okay, and the number 5 pick was a bit of a surprise, but I know it pleased you, Mr. Rolleman, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Brady Martin, a guy from my neck of the woods in Ontario, was drafted by the Nashville Predators. Pretty cool at the draft. You saw him and his family out on the farm watching the draft. So that was pretty cool. I'm really excited for this kid. I hope he pans out for Nashville. They're going to need it.
Yeah, they definitely are pretty thin up the middle.
Well, geez, it does seem like a long time ago. I don't think we're going to go through the whole draft here. Any other thoughts we have?
Well, you guys know I love the goalies. Interesting draft. There were 4 goalies chosen in the first 50 picks. It's been a while since we've seen that.
Yeah, goalies are volatile assets. It's hard to really judge them at that age, you know? I just feel like it's a risky pick to take a goalie high.
Yeah, the Columbus Blue Jackets took the first goalie, Petr Andronov, and a bit of a surprise there. He was high on the European list, but it seems like Columbus is not afraid to draft a goaltender.
Another Russian goalie for the Blue Jackets. Maybe they're trying to unearth the next Bobrovsky.
Yeah, well, 3 out of these 4 guys were Russian. A Canadian also went in the first round, Joshua Ravensbergen to San Jose Sharks. He's a big dude.
Sure. I mean, a big goalie would really help. And San Jose rebuilding, if they could nail that piece, that would be huge for that franchise.
Not to mention for Team Canada in the future, we need some good young goaltending prospects. So that would be nice to see him emerge as a real player.
Well, let's move along and talk about this offseason. I did hear some hockey fans say that they thought it was a really disappointing summer, but there were some big moves that were made.
Yeah, there was a lot of cap space that opened up, obviously, with the cap going up. A lot of teams were looking to buy. In the end, though, we didn't see some of the big mega moves that a lot of people were talking about.
No, but I think one in particular everybody was waiting for, and it finally happened. Mitch Marner is no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf and has become a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. Pretty big move.
Yes. As a Leaf fan, I have to say this one kind of hurt. I'm sort of sad to see Mitch Marner leave. I think it was probably time, but I do think that the Leafs really mishandled him. I'm glad they got Nicholas Waugh from Vegas. That's solid, but they really should have made that move before the no trade clause kicked in.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to give the guys a couple more kicks at the can, but I mean, like you said, Jeff, they came within one game of beating the Stanley Cup champs. So, hey, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, unfortunately, Marner, I think, was the fall guy for a lot of playoff misfortunes.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Although, I mean, it's safe to say he didn't perform very well in any of the playoff runs that the Toronto Maple Leafs have been involved in. Mitch Marner is now a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. How does he fit in there, and what do we think is going to happen?
Vegas has such a knack for just going out and getting the hottest name on the market, whether it's through trade or free agency. They've done it again. I think he's going to look great riding shotgun next to Jack Eichel. I think their skill sets will complement each other really nicely.
Yes, I mean, this is a team that is a former Stanley Cup champion. They look like a contender again. Toronto Maple Leafs, how are they looking going into the future here?
Well, I mean, one nice thing is I guess they did save some money by dealing Marner. They managed to re-up Johnny T, who gave the club a really nice hometown discount.
Well, most importantly, they locked up Matthew Knies long-term as well. What a great season he had last year. Looks like he's got a lot more growth in him as well. So I think that'll help a little bit.
Okay, so I think another really big deal. Just in the lead up to draft day, the Montreal Canadiens made a big splash. They had some pretty nice picks in the first round, and they chose to deal them for defenseman Noah Dobson. Mr. Mark is our resident Montreal Canadiens fan. What do you think of this?
Yeah, high acquisition cost, 2 first-rounders, and Emil Heineman had a really nice rookie campaign for the Habs. But this was one of the big holes in the lineup, right-handed defenseman, and Noah Dobson. I mean, he's only a year removed from a 70-point campaign. I know last year was a bit of an off year, but I think he's going to bounce back nicely in that Montreal system. I'm pumped.
And that wasn't the only move that Montreal pulled off.
Yeah, they also acquired Zach Bolduc from the St. Louis Blues. This guy, he can pot some goals and adds a lot of grit. I like him as a depth guy for this team.
Also a hometown guy, grew up in Quebec.
Absolutely.
But also what they gave up, Logan Mailloux, another right-handed defenseman. So it's kind of connected. They bring in Dobson, right-handed D. That makes Mailloux expendable. Really good asset management from the Habs.
So it was a busy offseason for my Maple Leafs. Mark, your Habs too. But John, what about your Winnipeg Jets?
Yeah, there was some movement for sure. I mean, the biggest move, obviously, was our Danish prince. Nikolai Ehlers has left town.
That was sad.
It was a little sad. I always liked Ehlers, and I thought he was always improving. He has moved to Carolina. Interestingly, I just don't think he's a good fit there. I think they really need some
sour
depth
grapes.
Yeah, I mean, I know you might say that, but really, I think Carolina needs some depth up the middle more than they need some pop on the wing. But, he's a good player, so I'm sure he'll do well there.
Yeah, what do you think, Mark?
No, John's not wrong. I mean, center ice is a big hole for them. Kotkaniemi just hasn't worked out as the 2C. But there was nothing out there in the center market. I think they just decided we need to make a splash. Let's get the best player available. And at that point, it was Nikolai Ehlers.
Yeah.
Very talented player. Would you say he's a game breaker, though?
He has the ability to go end to end. He can make some big plays. I don't know if he's the guy they needed, but they had to do something after flaming out in the conference finals yet again last year.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's a game breaker. I think in the right system, he can be a very, very effective player. But yeah, I don't think he's the one to drive play on his own.
For sure. And if we could just sort of shift back to Carolina for a second, they also made another big acquisition.
Yeah, Keandre Miller, I did not see that one coming, but that's a very bold move. They gave up a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a prospect, but he could be a nice fit. I mean, defensemen take longer to develop, and he's still young. He's 25 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. I did like what I saw out of him in New York, and yeah, he has some room to grow.
Yeah, this is actually the second consecutive offseason that Carolina has really done a makeover on their blue line.
Yeah, they seem to be a team that really puts a premium on defensemen. Burns is gone, Orloff is gone, but they do still have the Rod Langway Fan Club award winner for the best defensive defenseman, Jacob Slavin.
Amen.
You know, one of the reasons why this offseason was a little bit disappointing is a lot of guys that were expected to move on re-signed with their team. The most notable example, of course, being the Florida Panthers. They brought everyone back. I think to me, the most shocking one has got to be Aaron Ekblad coming in at only $6.1 million per year.
I never thought they would be able to get Marchand and Bennett to come back as well.
Yeah, I mean, Bennett was a very highly sought after prize, and they were able to do it, but why not? I mean, why not go to a team that's won back-to-back cups? This formula seems to work, and they're gonna run it back and see if they can do it again.
Yeah,
Repeat.
they're keeping the band together.
That Marchand deal is a little bit suspect, though. 6 more years. This guy's not playing 6 more years in the league.
No.
A little fishy.
A little fishy, but yeah, Florida does those kinds of things.
And there was another team that was quite active in signing their free agents.
Yeah, so, well, some were RFAs, but the big UFA was Brock Besser. He stays in Vancouver. That's a big one for them.
Yeah, that one surprised me. Really happy
Me
that
too.
the Brock Best monster is sticking around in Van.
Honestly, I thought it was time for them to kind of change things up. It's not really working that well with Besser in Vancouver. They did also bring back Connor Garland. I think he's a really good player. 6x6, I think that's fair for him. And Demko. A lot of people thought he was going to be traded. They're bringing him back. 3 more years at $8.5 million.
Well, if he could stay healthy for a bit, that would be huge for them.
And pretty big move bringing back hometown kid Evander Kane.
Yeah, salary dump from the Oilers. They only got a 4th-round pick in return. Hopefully, Kane can get fully healthy again. He has not been the same since that big wrist injury he had a few years back.
Okay, well, why don't we shift from a team that's in some murky waters to a team that seems to be drowning? The Buffalo Sabres have traded away J.J. Peterka. He seemed to be a pretty decent piece for them, and he's gone.
Yeah, this was a bit of a head scratcher for me. I mean, is it a rebuild of the rebuild now?
I just think Peterka and his agent told management, look, we're not going to stay here long term, so we might as well deal me now. And they did. And I'm sure he'll turn into a star like they always do when they leave Buffalo.
Yes, and he ends up in Utah for the newly named Mammoth.
Yeah, I do like some of the moves the Mammoth are making. They're building some depth. I think this could be a tough team to play against and could be a playoff contender in the next year or two.
They weren't that far out from making it last season. I think they could be in there for sure, and maybe one of the wild card spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a new ice age for the Mammoth.
Buffalo did get back a few decent players. Michael Kesselring, young right-handed defenseman. Those guys are not easy to come by. And Josh Doan, son of Shane. They're no longer in Arizona. I guess he had no purpose to be on that franchise anymore.
Okay, it's summertime, boys. I'm kind of, I'm not ready for hockey yet. Can we get out of here?
Well, yes, let's wrap this up, but we do need to talk about...
Yeah, the Anaheim Ducks. There were Ducks just flying around all over the place this year. Yeah. Some were coming, some were going. Let's start with who was going. Finally, we've been talking about this for how many years? John Gibson is gone, traded to the Detroit Red Wings, and they bring back Peter Mrazek and a couple of picks in return. What do you guys think about this
I
one?
am so curious to see what John Gibson can do in Detroit. Does he still have it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a goalie who we've always said has tons of talent, but has been kind of doomed on a bad team. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. But that wasn't the only move they made. Trevor Zegras, also gone.
Yeah, another name that was in the rumor mill for way too long. They didn't get that much back for him. They bring in Ryan Poehling, who's a good, depth center, and a 2nd and a 4th round pick. Kind of disappointing for Anaheim, I think.
Yeah, that one surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I thought Zegras was kind of one of their guys. He's got a lot of talent for sure. Maybe he doesn't have the grit to play up the middle of the ice, but
just not a Pat Verbeek kind of player, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right. But maybe he's a Rick Tocchet kind of guy. He's now in Philadelphia. We'll see how he does there.
Well, they were desperate for scoring talent, and he's got sick hands. So I think a change of scenery could do him well.
However, they did bring in a couple of veteran players, Chris Kreider from the Rangers and Mikael Granlund.
Yeah, some veterans might really boost this team a little bit. It's definitely a new Ducks team. I'm interested to see how it plays out on the ice.
I was really happy to see that they re-signed Dostal in net. He had some great flashes last year.
Yeah, he's their man. That's why Gibson was sent packing. One guy who is not signed, though, Mason McTavish. And people are starting to get a little bit nervous in Anaheim.
Yes, he could be one of the cornerstone pieces on this team. Very important that they lock him up.
Hey, I'm just glad they drafted Roger Lightning McQueen. Surely he'll be wearing number 95 out there.
Okay, well, it's nice to talk about the Ducks. We don't talk about them as much as we should. But are we done here? Are we done here? Can we go?
Well, hang on.
What?
Well, the worst moves. Rapid fire. What was the most puzzling move of the NHL offseason?
Okay, I'm going to say Cody Ceci to the LA Kings. I just don't get it.
Yeah, 4 times 4.5. That's a little rich for a bottom pairing defenseman.
Fair enough. You've lost Gavrikov. Not a replacement at all. Yeah, overpay. I don't like it.
John, what do you think?
I was a little baffled by Yanni Gourde going back to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, he signed for 6 years, $14 million. The average cap hit is okay, but the man is 33 years old, and they tried it last year and it didn't really work. I've always really liked him as a player, but I think he's past his prime. I don't think he really fits into any sort of cup contending picture.
And Mark, which deal did you notice?
Well, it wouldn't be a show without me taking at least one pot shot at my hometown, Edmonton Oilers. I was really puzzled by the Trent Frederick deal. 8 years for a bottom 6 guy who honestly wasn't even that good in the playoffs. I know he's had injuries, but that's another reason to not sign the guy for 8 years. He's been injured. He plays a physical brand. Not sure how well that one's going to age.
Shocking.
AAV's all right, 3.85, but I don't know, man. The Oilers,
it's a long term. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Not a popular move back home.
Okay. Well, guys, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a gap here between now and the time the season starts, but it is going to come up. It's going to creep. It's going to creep.
Less than a month until training camp opens, guys.
Here it comes. Here it comes. It's coming down the pipe.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, sure.
So please stay tuned for our season preview show.
Yeah, we will see you in late September.
Yeah. Just before the season starts, we'll have all of our lists ready. We'll be breaking down every single one of the NHL teams. So that's something to look forward to.
Can't wait. We'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you had yourselves a time.
Well, I hope you had yourselves a time. Hope you had yourselves a time. Hope you had time, yourselves a time. Hope you had yourselves a time. Well, I hope you had yourselves a time. Hope you had the time. Hope you had yourselves a time. Well, I hope you had yourselves a time. Hope you had